What happens when a 58-year-old woman decides to build her own furniture? Let me show you. I built a bed and a couple of nightstands for my room, and I had so much fun doing it, I decided to build two. Hi, I'm Lana, and welcome to My Next Best Life. This YouTube channel is a channel where I am working towards my retirement in 8 months, and I am looking forward to my next life, and I would like it to be my best life. This video is part of a series that I'm creating called my Midlife Yes Project, where I say yes to a challenge, big or small, each month to do something that will make me healthier, more creative, and just generally be more engaged in life. This month's challenge was to create bedroom furniture. I've been living in this log house for just over a year, sleeping on a mattress on the floor. Well, I worked in other rooms, but my bedroom sort of took a back seat. So getting out of bed each morning meant doing a squat every single day, and that's great and amazing, but it did not do much for the ambiance or the aesthetic of my space. So it was time to build bedroom furniture. Also, I am looking to create a short-term rental out of this log house, like Airbnb or Verbo or that kind of thing, to help fund my travels when I retire and just generally to support myself. My teacher's pension will not be enough, and I haven't saved enough because I did get a late start and going through a divorce and everything were setbacks. So now I'm having to be creative and think outside the box in coming up with ways to fund my next best life, my retirement life. This is not a DIY video. I did not do a great job of filming myself as I built each piece and each stage of the process. This is more a video about the rewards and benefits of taking on a challenge, such as building your own furniture. And so I'm going to talk more about that. But if you would like more specific instructions and the plans on how to make this bed, I will link that below. Basically, I was inspired by Anna White. She is a longtime YouTuber and builder who lives in Alaska, and she shares many plans for beds and other kinds of furniture on her website and YouTube channel. So you can check her out if you feel like giving it a try. Very simple to follow, very easy to understand, and very affordable. So I will link that below. I have been following Anna White as well as other women builders on the internet for a while now. I really enjoy some other channels that I really enjoy are April Wilkinson and Shara from Shara Woodshop Diaries, and especially Laura Kampf, who is a person who's less about building furniture specifically, but more just a creative person, a maker. She makes all kinds of unique things, not just things with wood. So I recommend that you check out these channels because they have done a lot to inspire me to not be afraid of power tools and to take on challenges. I don't necessarily have to call someone to do it for me. I have learned to do a lot of things by myself. I've built up a nice little set of skills so that I can solve problems, and I know that I can fix something if something goes wrong, or I can at least try to. And it's just such a good feeling to have that sense of empowerment. So I thank these women online who share their skills and expertise, and I encourage you to follow them and maybe take on some of kind of project for yourself. Not only is building your own furniture more budget friendly, it can be very aesthetically pleasing, especially if you like kind of the rustic look, as I do, and which I think it suits the log cabin very well. It's also very solid. The wood, it's solid wood. There's no particle board and no shortcuts here. It's all solid wood and screws. I know everything that went into this, and this bed does not squeak. It does not wiggle or move. It is solid and it is very comfortable. I feel like this bed is going to last for many years to come. When I go to sleep at night, I feel so satisfied. That feeling of personal satisfaction and pride that goes with making something with your own two hands. You just can't beat it. I feel inspired to do more. I feel like taking on more woodworking projects. I think maybe I'll tackle the kitchen next. I felt a little inspired to even just make this shelf here, which is a very simple fix. I just Googled how to make a shelf to support pictures, and I found this very simple design. I find that most building projects are a lot easier than I thought. Things are a bunch of rectangles, and you're just assembling pieces together. A little glue, a little um, some screws, and things hold together very well. Here's my basic saw that I use when I'm doing woodworking projects, such as making the bed. It's a Mastercraft, which is the Canadian Tire store brand. It does have a Diablo blade on it, which I purchased separately because the blade it comes with isn't very good. It's a miter saw, which means it can do angle cuts, and it's super handy. And it's small and it's lightweight, and I just put it on a portable table or on the ground, and I'm just very careful where I make sure my fingers out of the way before I pull down on the blade, and it's super easy to use. Here are the basic tools that I used when I was making my bed. This guy is my drill that I use for a lot of projects. I have random different sized drill bits that attach easily. It's the Maximum brand, which is also from Canadian Tire. So not super high end, but a little better quality than the Mastercraft brand. It's a very powerful drill, and I think every woman should have her own set of power tools, especially a drill and especially a measuring tape. A level is very important to make sure things are in the right spot, and a speed square. Sometimes I have to label my tools because I have sons who like to borrow and they don't always put things back. So I make sure sometimes I label certain things. But if you use a level, a square, and a measuring tape, you'll make sure the pieces are in the right spot before you glue it and screw it and or nail it. That's a very important step. So just double check before you attach things, and you'll be fine. Um, I do nail down the top of the nightstands and the top of the headboard on the bed, and I use this punch to hammer down the nail heads with my very little hammer. It's not very heavy, it just needs a little tap. And I fill it with wood filler and some sawdust, and then I stain it the color that I have used for the bed. This says both of the stains are from Minwax. Simply White is the light colored one, and this one's almost empty. Golden Oak is the other one, and I do prefer to use a brush when I am staining, but some people like to use rags. And a rag is also handy to have on hand just to wipe away any excess. I did forget to mention that I use ear protection when I'm using my saw, very important. And a shop vac and a pencil would be the other things that are important tools to have on hand. So it's not a lot. You can rent tools, you don't have to necessarily buy them. The tools that I own, none of them are really brand name. My saw is a very basic saw. I got at a store called Canadian Tire here in Canada. And it's just like their store brand of saw. And the important thing there was that I bought a good blade that has a fine tooth. So it makes the cuts really nice and clean without like shredding the edges a little bit. So a cheaper saw, but a more expensive blade. But you can rent that. There's Rental Village and other places where you can tool libraries. Maybe there's someone in your family who will lend you a tool. I know that's a little bit tricky for some people. They don't like to lend their tools out, but maybe you have somebody who'd be willing to do that. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to try using power tools. Just follow the safety rules and take your time. Measure twice, cut once, as they say, but really take your time and go slow and just piece by piece. You can do it. It's just a set of instructions, like a recipe. Following a recipe, that's what woodworking is like, as long as you have good plans. And Anna White's plans are very good, and if she can do it and I can do it, you can do it. Here I am bringing the wood home in my Honda Civic. I just fold down the back seats and slide the 8 foot long boards up in between the front seats. You can see my shoulders resting, so it's a little bit of a tight squeeze. Then I chop up the wood, sand it individually into the various colors, then assemble it. This is the nightstand that went into my room. Here it is with the bottom shelf and the top shelf, filling in the nail holes and then sanding it all down so it's complete. And there they are installed before the rug came. I had extra lumber, so I made a cute little bathroom shelf just with some handy dandy brackets that I picked up at our local hardware store. I moved on to my son's room. Here's his mattress on the floor. Here's his headboard being just laid out and getting ready to screw down. Some sanding and staining prior to building the side view of his nightstand. And here's the nightstand completed, all made with scrap lumber again. If you like this kind of content where you feel inspired to try new challenges, take on new things, learn new skills, be creative, and just be more engaged in life, then please follow along. I will be here saying yes to a new challenge every month, and you just never know what I'm going to get up to. I'd like to hear what you're getting up to, so please comment below if you have some things that you're doing that are of interest to you. If you're learning something new or trying something new to be more engaged in life, I'd love to know about it and to cheer you on. That's it for this video. I hope that you are being engaged in your current life and that you're working towards building your next best life. Bye for now.